Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Hone Zone. I'm your host today, Hone Ta, and today we're going to be talking about kicking butt in your business. The idea of running or having a business is one of those things that seems counter to what everybody else is doing. People think that everybody should have jobs. And then I asked the question, well, if everybody had a job, who would they be working for? Where would the job come from? Now, unless you're working for the government, there are chances that you are working for somebody who created a business. So now, if you're interested in creating your own business, or if you already have a business and you're trying to improve that business, my question to you is, how are you doing it? So I want to talk about how are we going to kick butt in business? How are you going to do your business better? Or if you haven't even started yet, how do we get you off the ground? So I guess the question really is, what's holding you back? So, and that question, what's holding you back, actually is for both people who have a business and don't have a business. So, what is holding you back from doing more or getting started? Now, what's interesting is I've been in business for, I don't know how many years, a lot of years, right? And the way that my business is today is completely different than anything that I've ever imagined before. So people like to plan and think and dream and create a business plan, but a lot of times your business is going to turn out completely different. So if you haven't started your business yet, it's probably because you're waiting for it to be perfect. The problem is it never becomes perfect. It never becomes perfect unless you create it. It can never evolve from nothing. So you have to just do something and then let it evolve. Now, you may get out of the industry, whatever industry that you're in, and then you find that you don't actually like it. But you'll never know that unless you actually take that leap. So I'm curious, if you guys are watching this and you want to start a business, but you haven't yet started, what do you think is causing you to not yet have that business? What is it that is holding you back from actually having that business? And if you're in business, what are some of your next level goals? Feel free to leave the comment in below, right? Leave a comment. What if you are running a business? What's your next goal and how do you get there? I would love to have a conversation. And now, if you would like to hop on this thing, let me know. I can send you the link and we can have a live conversation. That'd be interesting, right? So I'm not sure who's on this thing, but if you guys are watching, leave a comment. Let me know where you're getting stuck. What is it that you're trying to do, but you're just working on it because through that conversation, that's how we know that or based on that conversation, based on what you leave in terms of the comments, I can then begin to drill in and unlock what it is that's holding you back. Now, when I was first starting the business, some of the pitfalls that I ran into was trying to do everything myself. Outsourcing was a wonderful thing, and how you outsource today is very different than how you outsourced before. Today we have things like Fiverr, right? And we have virtual assistants. And those things are like a dream come true because you can hire anybody to pretty much do just about anything. Now, you still need to be really good at what you do or at least know what a good product looks like. A perfect example is when you're hiring a CPA in your business, it would be important to you to understand what kind of write-offs exist for your industry so that you can know whether or not your CPA that you're currently hiring is taking all of the write-offs. Because if your CPA is not, and you don't know to even question it, then you could be missing out on huge write-offs. It's not I'm not saying that you should know everything. I'm not saying that you should know everything that your CPA is doing. But what I am saying is be aware of certain things and then you can have good dialogue between you and your CPA, because a lot of times people just say, oh, I don't know, my CPA handles that. I don't know that part. They handle that. It's okay to say that for some things. But the overall picture, you want to understand what the strategy is. You want to have a meeting, sit down, have a meeting with your CPA and come up with a strategy and the best ways to take the most write-offs, right? So when you're hiring somebody, it's not that you need to know everything, but you do want to know some things and then allow them to do it, because you got to know whether or not they're doing a good job for you or not. But today, again, one of the biggest pitfalls for anybody starting a business, or even if they currently have a business, is doing everything. If you are the cook, the cleaner, and the cashier, then you're going to have no time for yourself. There are people who can do what you need to get done. There are people who can do that stuff and they can do it better than you, believe it or not. That's the thing that people don't understand. They don't know. They don't believe that anybody else can do it better than you. Here's an idea. How about you hire somebody who can do it 80% as well as you and let them do it? And now, in order for them to get 100% as good as you, they're going to need to make mistakes because you made mistakes getting to where you are, right? You made mistakes getting to where you are. So if you can hire somebody who can do the job 80% as well as you, hire them, allow them to make the mistakes, and then they will grow to the point where you're happy with the work that they're doing on a consistent basis. Everybody makes mistakes. You can't expect perfectionist, but you can expect that people will try really hard to do really, really well. And you have to give them that ability. Otherwise, you won't grow. You got to allow them to grow. You got to allow them to take chances, and then they can grow, and then your business can grow. And then you get to grow as a leader, right? You get to grow as a leader. So now I'm starting to outsource a lot more things. I outsource all kinds of things, but I use Fiverr. I also use software. Software is an amazing way to outsource a lot of what you need to do or want to do. You don't have to necessarily rely even on a person. I have a friend of mine who talks all about how the robots are taking over. Well, it's not necessarily the robots are taking over. The robots have a critical part. So he uses artificial intelligence to have conversations with you. And let's say you needed a job done. If you needed a job done, usually you would want to talk to a salesperson, and then the salesperson and you go back and forth and talk about what it is that you want to do. Well, he's created it where there's a text messaging system that sends you a text message. It's coming from a robot, but it sounds like a person. It's like, hey, I saw that you were interested in a job. Please tell us about your project. And then you write about your project. And then the response from the robot will say, can you please send pictures of the job? And then you go around and you take pictures and you text the pictures back, and then the robot saves the pictures in the database. So what used to be a very labor-intensive process where you could lose data, this robot is capturing everything. So where it used to be that a client would send you pictures. Let's say you were a contractor and the client's like, I want to redo this bathroom, and they send you a picture of the bathroom, and then it's just you and your phone and the pictures on the phone. Well, now the way he has it is that when you take a picture of your bathroom and you send it to him, the robot will download those pictures and save them on a Dropbox or Google Drive folder to be looked at later by a live salesperson. Remember, this is all being done by the robot, so that if somebody is up at 2 a.m. and they're like, oh, I'm interested in getting my bathroom redone, they can talk, right? They can talk to somebody, they can submit photos, and then the salesperson can reach out later, right? At least the potential client is a couple of steps down the funnel. Not only did they show interest, but they also uploaded photos. So that just it's one step closer to them being a really good lead that actually says yes to the job. Because if they don't, if you have a person take steps in your process, they are that much better of a client or potential client. Right. So outsourcing, that's a wonderful way to grow a bigger business. But I guess even before that, I love the message that people should be in business. If everybody was an employee, then nobody would be an employee. And what I mean by that is that employees don't create jobs. They take jobs, right? An employee takes a job, but an employee doesn't create a job. It's a business owner. It's an entrepreneur that creates a business that creates jobs. So I love the idea that people want to build a business, whether it's a side business or a full-time thing. Either one's fine, right? Oftentimes it starts off as a side business and then it grows into a full-time thing. But I love talking to entrepreneurs, business owners, because they see the world as a glass half empty kind of thing. They see all of these opportunities, they see all this potential, they have an abundance mindset. It's a completely different conversation when you talk to somebody with an abundance mindset versus somebody who has a scarcity mindset. Have you ever noticed that? A person with an abundance mindset, they're always seeing things for what they could be, right? They always see things for how great something can be. They have this optimism that oozes out of them. They also see the the opportunity that it's like, wow, if I do this, if I do that, based on the situation, I can improve my life, I can improve other people's lives, right? And so they're always looking for ways that they can improve the world. Scarcity mindset, people who just talk negative about everything, man, that's exhausting. It's like you're trying to pull this like horse to the water, right? And then you get to the water and the water still doesn't drink. It's just that person is exhausting to be around. It's exhausting to be around because you're always trying to uplift them. You're always trying to say like, look, things aren't that bad. Things aren't this, things aren't that. Like there's ways that you can be, and one is exhausting and one is not. Now, talking to somebody who is always optimistic but has not actually created anything, who hasn't actually taken action, they're kind of exhausting too, because they live in I don't know, la la land almost. There's realistic, right? And I realize that there's a element of being realistic that is limiting, but then there's also where if a person is just so high in the clouds, but they never actually took any action, they're difficult to talk to as well. So it's got to be this person, this blend where they're optimistic mentally, but then they also have the courage to take action, and then they have real life experience. That kind of person you can talk to for hours and hours and hours, and it just feels good because they're just telling you story after story about things that they've done, and it's exciting because it's not just this la la everything's amazing idea. It's this like, there is potential here. I took my shot. Things didn't go exactly as planned, but things went great regardless. And here are the things that happened. That kind of conversation, listening to that kind of story, people get addicted to that kind of stuff. It's amazing. I bought a triplex. I had me and three other people bought a triplex. So the four of us bought a triplex, and then one day, this is a triplex renting to three different tenants. There was a second floor tenant, and on the back of the second floor there was a little roof, and the tenant was complaining that it was the roof was leaking, and that night was like a crazy tornado, hurricane, whatever, just like crazy amounts of rain coming down, and it was coming through her roof, following the ceiling, and then coming down the ceiling fan. We could have waited till the next day or whatever and called the roofer and called whoever, right? And to fix everything. But we knew that if we could get to it and fix it now, we would have less damage because that water was coming down, going into her property, destroying the ceiling, messing up the ceiling fan, dribbling onto her bed, and destroying all of that kind of stuff, right? So if we left it for a really long time, who knows? Maybe the water would continue to drip down, drip on the floor, drip down to the first floor, right? So what we did was I called one of my partners. We went out to the property. I had a blowtorch, a bunch of towels, roofing material, um, roofing muck, right? I had all of these things, and we go to the roof. He's holding an umbrella. We create like a channel that well, first off, we find the hole. We go to her apartment, we see where the leak's coming in, and then we go to the roof and we look for the hole. We are able to find the hole. This is 10 p.m. at night. We have flashlights. We find a little pinhole. The hole must have been that big. There was a little hole on the roof. Water was getting into that hole, into her unit. We blocked with a bunch of towels. We blocked the channel that went around the hole. So we were diverting all the water. We held an umbrella over it so that water wouldn't fall on top of the hole. I used a blowtorch to dry the roof from the wet whatever, and then I blowtorched the roofing material as hot as I could handle, and then I smushed that down. I put the tar around it, and then we waited there for a little while to allow it to dry even a little bit. But again, rain was coming down; it was bananas. So then, after we were satisfied with how the job came out, we picked up all the materials, and then we left. Right, we saved the day. The ceiling was fine. The ceiling fan fine. The bed she covered with plastic, whatever. Everything was good. But I tell that story because that story we have told to each other, me and him. We've told to each other over the years a bunch of times because it's one of those things that it's just like, dude, that's crazy. Nobody would go out in a hurricane to fix a roof that's currently leaking. Most people say it couldn't be done. But it's that kind of action taking that one, you solve the problem, but then two, you can tell this story forever and ever and ever. It's being around people who have crazy stories like that that's what makes life worth living. If you guys are looking to build a better business or build a business in the first place, your number one goal is just to take action. Just take crazy action. Do all kinds of stuff like fixing a roof during the rain. And that, I mean, that grows you. There's no other way to really grow yourself other than taking action. So if you're a perfectionist and you're looking to start a business but you don't want to start it just yet because there are things that aren't perfect yet, I understand that, but just know that it will never be perfect. If that project was perfect, then I wouldn't have a roof leak in the first place. But stuff happens. You have a roof leak. And if you have a roof leak, then you just handle it, right? You handle it however you handle it, but taking action allows you to evolve. Taking action gives you great stories, and I think that's the spice of life. If you're trying to improve your business, how you improve your business? Well, you you grow. You grow. You take action and take a lot of action. That's the one thing I think that people don't take enough of. They don't take enough action, and because they don't take enough action, they don't have the experience. And then the experience is how you become, as they call it, like wise. You're more wise because you take all of this action. You have all of these experience. You know what to do when times are tough. So if you're interested in building a better business, then build one, right? If you're interested in becoming a real estate investor, well, I can help with that. I have a lot of experience in that. If you guys are interested in checking out a meeting, we have a meeting tonight at 7 p.m. The link has been going down the bottom of the screen there. If you're interested in becoming that, don't wait for perfection. That's going to be the bet. That's going to be the thing that kills your business. Having that perfection or waiting for that perfection, it never comes. It absolutely never comes. So, all right, guys. With that, hopefully this was an interesting conversation that we just had. Uh, Again, if you guys want to check out the meeting, 7 p.m. tonight, and I will see you there. Peace.